Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Anman, your host for the next 2 hours, along with Spence.
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah, I know.
Good morning.
And Nick.
Good morning.
Good morning. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. All right. So what's going on, guys? Was that the brakes on some car?
You got the what?
It sounded like it was bad brakes, like metal to metal.
Oh, yeah. Well,
that's how I
that.
It's been a low-tech week for me, anyway.
Oh, there were quite a few things going on.
Although I did buy a drone and wound up sending it back.
Oh, why?
It never flew right. It was, I bought this one. It says simple to learn, starter drone, all this stuff. And a name that you see a lot of different models out there, starting at really cheap up to hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So I thought this would be okay to learn on. And as soon as you fire, it has an automatic takeoff and landing button. You cannot manually fly it. It will actually rise up and then you control it once it goes. As soon as you would hit the takeoff button, it would come up and would just always fly to the right. Uncontrollable.
Really?
Try doing it again, reset it, sync it up, you go through the calibration process. Same thing. It would just always fly that way. I just decided it's not working.
Did you try to put the motors the right angle?
Right. Yeah. Maybe I should just put extra weight on the left side. Maybe it'll fly better. But I read through the reviews, and maybe 15% of the people that buy it have this issue. It's right out of the box.
Okay,
it just flies in one direction and can't control it. So I'm going to buy I've already picked out another one that it's actually from a company that's based in the US. I'm sure they don't manufacture here, but they have a lot better reputation. Plus they have one that's specifically designed. It has 3 different flying modes, basically easy, medium, and difficult modes to train you. It's just specifically designed to train. Starts out with the easy automatic helps, and then it goes down to where everything is manual. So could have bought one that's just manual right out of the box. And people said, this is a wonderful drone. It flies great. People race it. That's how controllable it is. He said, but it's really hard to fly until you practice. So I'm going to get one that's got all these, one that says it's usable indoors and a lot of other things.
No playing with drones in the living room.
Well, that's where I was trying it. I didn't want to try it outside because what happens if it flew away? It just took, I've read reviews that said, I got it out for the first time. I hit the start, the button, it rose up, and then I steered it in one direction and it just kept going. And that was not a lot of people. This particular one had like 68% 5 and then 20% 4 ratings, and then maybe 8% 1 rating. But what, you look at this stuff, it's like, how do you find, unless you spend hundreds of dollars, you're not going to find anything that has less than 5 on the negative side. So
Mm,
didn't spend a lot of time obsessing over it. So I'm going to
yeah,
just get something else.
it's a shame though. You sounded
Nick, have
like
you
you
ever
were
flown a
very.
drone?
You sounded
I have
like
not.
what, Nick?
I said I have not.
Yeah, I have never done it. I've flown, well, the old style model airplane that was actually tethered, that you flew in a circle. You won't see those anymore. Actually had a gasoline engine on it, and you had a, a little bracket that had two wires on it that you would tilt side to side or up and down, that would make the plane fly up and down. You would just stand in a circle and fly it in a circle. But it was before radio control stuff was available. Worked okay until I flew it right into the ground and made it into 1,000 pieces.
Oh, it's okay.
It was one of those uh, what do you call it? Rites of passage. You had to go through it to
Uh,
realize, hey, this isn't for me. I'm going to move on to something else.
so this is a story from last week, and I never got around to it, but it's an interesting fact. It says there is a notion among older people that teens with their smartphones and unlimited internet access never experience boredom. Media outlets have repeatedly declared that smartphones have killed boredom as we know it, but today's teens are still bored, often incredibly so. They're just more likely to experience a new type of boredom, phone bored. As members of what has been dubbed Generation Z, a cohort that spans those born roughly between the years of 98 and 2010, today's teens and tweens have had unparalleled access to technology. Many have had smartphones since elementary, if not middle school. I guess it's supposed to be middle school, if not elementary. Many have had they've grown up with high speed internet, laptops, and social media. It's tempting to think that these devices, with their endless ability to stimulate, offer salvation from the type of mind numbing boredom that is so core to the teen experience. But humans adapt to the conditions that surround them, and technical advances are no different. What seems novel to one generation, feels passe to the next. To many teens, smartphones and the internet have already lost their appeal. This is very interesting.
You know what? It's been coming for longer than we think. I mean, we went through it as the generation that grew up on television when cable television first came out.
Right.
Wow, 25 channels. Well, now you've got hundreds of channels. You can sit there in front of your TV with the remote and not find anything that you want to watch. And you're bored. With all that information sitting in front of you, you're bored. So it had to have morphed into now having a powerful computer at your fingertips every moment of the day. That's why I've been leaving my phone in the car when I work, unless I'm listening to music or a podcast. But I don't want to be that attached anymore. I think there's going to be a movement. It's already started in places. Some people are very aware of it. A movement away from it. They have whole attractions now, bars, places to go for entertainment that are detached. You can go away for a weekend when no devices are allowed, no high tech devices are allowed, just to break away from it because people realize that they're missing out on a kind of solitude and relaxation that they can't get when they're continuously attached.
Nick, you went to an event this weekend in Wilmington,
Yes.
at the Azalea Festival.
Yes.
Did you see a lot of people with that were face in the phone?
Not so much at that, but when I went to the concert, a lot of people watching the concert would appear to be through their cell phones.
Oh,
But
it
I
was
saw a lot of that.
so it was televised. What do you
No,
mean through the cell phone?
as if they were taking a picture or a video, watching it through
Oh,
their
oh.
cell phone.
What would happen to you if you are somewhere and suddenly you don't have access? Did you ever run into this?
Didn't have cell phone access.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
in a different
internet
situation.
access? The what?
I'm in a different situation, I think, than most people. Because of
Yeah,
work.
because of work. No, but in the evening, you're going somewhere you sit with friends in a bar or something. There's no internet.
I'd probably be fine if I knew there was going to be no technical issues that needed to be dealt with. I'd be fine. But it's always the uncertainty of something could potentially go wrong
Yeah.
here at work, and
Right.
if I can't be reached, that could be a pretty serious problem.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat. Well, I still am. Because if I don't have the phone, I can't get page if something goes wrong. You're right.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Now, if I could wave my magic wand and say, "Oh, well, nothing's going to go wrong," then I honestly I don't feel like I'd need it.
Well,
Think about
it's
how useful a time machine would be.
Yeah, in many cases, in many
You
cases.
say, all right, I had a good week here. I can keep going back and reliving that good week. Of course, you get older, but time wouldn't pass.
Oh, I mean, a time machine would be used even better if here, no phone. There was a big problem. Oh no, let's go back and fix it. It's okay.
Yeah, but that you start to get into, what do they call it, paradox?
Yeah.
If you're a fan of time travel videos or time travel science fiction, it gets really interesting.
Yeah. A lot
What
of things
happens when you
change.
change the timeline?
Yep.
Or if you believe in quantum physics, that you believe that where there are multiple parallel universes, and every time a choice is made, it forks into a new parallel universe where you're sitting there looking in the store, and I'm either going to buy the red one or the blue one. So in one universe, you buy the blue one and life goes on, and that becomes the new timeline. And in the other universe, you buy the red one and that goes on. And every time a choice is made, there's a fork and there's a new universe created.
Yeah.
Wrap your head around that one. Strange. So how's that background look, Amnon?
It looks fine.
It's not squirrely, right? Although I do see a little bleed through. Yeah, there's a little bit of bleed through there. I'll mess with it.
Looks all right. Kind of busy.
Well, it's meant to be busy.
I see a cold solder spot.
All right, let's see. I'm in the wrong. I got to change my. I will adjust it here. See what we can come up with.
We were supposed to have a big Windows update, huh? So the spring, whatever. So the next big update for Windows 10 has been delayed, while Microsoft rushes to fix a newly discovered bug. It says known variously as Windows 10 version 1803, cumulative update for Windows 10, next Redstone 4, and Windows 10 Spring Creators Update. Look how many names that next Windows update have. It was widely
problem.
What?
That's probably part of the problem why they can't release it, because they have so many internal names working on different parts of it that nobody's talking to the other.
It says it was widely thought that the update had reached RTM and was on the verge of rolling out. However, this last minute discovery means there will be a little longer to wait. Oh,
I'm so crushed.
I know. I know. And I mean, it's a good thing that they found it early, whatever it is. And I'm glad they're not talking about it. Uh, but yeah, it's fine. And oh, are you watching the chat, Spence?
I am looking now. I saw what
Okay,
Alan.
all right.
All right, I'll say the comment. I was going to write a comment. I was going to say, Alan, just your statement created a new fork. Sorry. It is. Yeah. It's. Yeah. I don't understand. Even I know what the theory. I know what they're saying, but I just don't dive into the explanation of it. So it's fun.
Yeah.
If anybody is looking for a show to pick up on Netflix, try Travelers.
Oh
Kind
yeah.
of an interesting sci-fi, created by Brad Wright, the guy that was the showrunner for Battlestar Galactica.
Nicholas.
Yeah.
Besides that Azalea Festival, you had an interesting week. You went to NAB.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to go to NAB for a couple of days this week and look at some of the cool technology out there.
Anything that struck you that you can't stop thinking about?
Yeah, how much money there is in media. I mean, people like to talk about TV and radio being quote unquote dead. If that's the case, then they're sure pissing away a lot of money at these damn trade shows. I mean, Black Magic had to have spent over $1 million on all the stuff that they had there.
Wow.
And they had banners all over Vegas on the sides of every hotel. Black Magic had banners all over the show venue. Black Magic had banners everywhere. So there's people are making money somewhere.
That's because marketing's job is to spend companies' money.
That's fine, but if they can't, if they don't
Yeah,
have it,
if
they're
they
not
don't
spending
have
it.
right.
So I mean, Black Magic's got to be making enough money to, I mean, easily $1 million. You could say maybe $1.5 million.
I was hearing one report, one of the live streaming reports, and somebody was saying that it's like, if I'm not mistaken, it was something like $11,000, $12,000 a day just for Ethernet.
With these trade shows,
Yeah,
Maybe.
I never paid that much, but it's expensive. I remember doing some shows in Vegas where just the booth fees and rental stuff was $30,000.
Yeah, and you
And
know
that didn't include just to have, depending on if you were at a place where it was union, just to roll your shipping containers to your booth to unpack them, $2,000. To store them, $2,000. Internet, Wi-Fi, all that stuff. Oh, your internet is $15,000. Your Wi-Fi is $3,000. Your lighting, it gets you coming and going. So
Yeah.
it's in the size of your booth, the square footage, the number of tables, the show space, and all that.
whether
All
you
exponential.
whether you have tablecloth or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
how many do you want a whiteboard? All right, that's $100 a day.
Yeah.
So I had my own kit that I built with. You didn't really rent. You could rent network gear, but you didn't want to. You wanted your own stuff. Uh-oh.
What happened?
I just noticed on the Hangout on my side that the video is choppy.
You're okay
My
here.
viewing it.
Yeah, you're okay
Well,
here.
my internet has been flaky the last couple of days.
Okay, your audio is not in sync now, though. let's see if it'll come back.
All right.
Sorry.
But yeah, it was it's an interesting world. But
Yeah.
I must have done over 50 trade shows, maybe more over the
So
years.
so Nick, which booth um uh what's the word, struck you like that most impressed you?
I don't think there was one booth that was most impressive to me. There was a whole bunch of cool stuff there. Of course, the vMix people were there, the Telestream people were there, the New Tech people were there. Trying to think who else in
The bigger vendors, Mick, what kind of square footage did they have? Are we talking just a 12 by 12, or are we talking like the
Oh,
whole?
Black Magic had I mean, they must have had a 1,000 square foot booth, maybe even more. Right when you walked in the front of the convention center,
That's the most expensive ones, right in the path. Everybody.
Yeah, them and Grass Valley had massive booths right next to each other, and I can only imagine how many tens of thousands of dollars those booths cost. So yeah, I don't know if there was one booth that really impressed me the most, but overall, it was a pretty cool event.
And food was not cheap either, huh?
No, of course not. I mean, you're at Vegas.
What hotel did you stay at?
Stayed at the Luxor, the pyramid shaped one with the big light coming out of it.
I've stayed there. It's pretty good. They had one of the better food courts years ago. It might not be the same.
They did have a good food court. They had Johnny Rockets, a couple other places. It did the job for. I think we got the rooms for $37 a night. So it did the job.
I bet they're having trouble. I noticed for the first time in a long time they're advertising on television for Vegas resorts. So with events that happened out there, it must be affecting the tourism business.
Oh.
That's where I met USS Rover out there. He came and stopped in at a trade show that I was doing a number of years ago.
Yep. All right. Well, so you're back, and you is your faith in radio kind of like not renewed, but boosted?
My faith in radio isn't. My faith in all the other media is. So we'll see. Who knows?
All right.
Too many people that are okay with how things were done 40 years ago and think that's how things need to be done going into the future, and it's just a stupid mentality to have.
Hey, it worked for me.
Yeah, it worked for me in 1975, so it should work for you in 2018. Oh, okay, great. That's how technology has worked, right? That's why we have access to the internet, because people said, oh, well, not having your computers networked is fine. Just send letters in the mail. Works great.
Throw away all the hard drives. Bring back the cards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No reason to have memory.
Yeah.
What did Bill Gates say? 128 megs of memory was all you'd ever need?
640K.
Yeah, there you go. 640K.
When I got my first hard drives, they were 10 meg hard drives. And then next one I got was a 20 meg hard drive. I was like, oh my God, 20 meg. How am I ever going to fill that up?
And then they RLL'd it to 30.
Yeah. And then I think it didn't get too much bigger than that, because once you got to 30, now you were talking a full high drive. It was no half high.
Oh no! Don't you remember the RLL?
Eventually they came out, but I mean, in the beginning they were full high.
Yeah.
So if you had a regular PC with just 2 bays, 2 5 1/4.
But here we're talking about the radio industry. That's what Nick is talking about. Is the technology that's being used there and they're never on the forefront.
Who?
Radio stations.
No, never.
They always, because of the amount of money, they're always like behind. But
well, it's
this
just
is
like
way behind.
It's like Republicans. Wait till it's too late to deal with your problems. I mean, it's the same. I mean, I kind of say that in a joking manner, but it's kind of the same mentality. And you go there and you look at all this new digital stuff. And when I say digital, I don't mean like Facebook, but I mean digital in terms of
Digital.
like the content you're producing and the
Mm-hmm.
content I'm producing, and things are getting cheaper and cheaper, and uh, having more features and all this other stuff. And you look at radio, and it's like, oh, we're selling AM transmitters at NAB. Oh, okay, great.
And I remember when
Mm.
the studio got redone. And so after the old board, this new board that we saw was like, wow, this is incredible, way out there. And then they sent people over from the other station when they got bought. And the guy goes, our stuff is like 30 years older than this. That's all we're used to.
Yeah.
And we had it was low end current as far as price goes. They didn't spend a whole ton of money.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about the board, if it works, it works. I mean, but then when you start getting into content, and if the board cannot pass it the right way, then no.
I ran into
Yeah.
Hardy like a year and a half ago. John Hardy.
Yeah, he's back in Raleigh now.
He is back because I know he was in
Yeah,
Greensboro.
I
for a
heard that
while.
he moved
Yeah.
back to Raleigh.
Yep. I
Yeah,
ran into him at the Bluegrass Festival.
I mean, there is money in both types of media, but you're right. I mean, radio stations don't upgrade their equipment every year. This is an every 10, 15, 20-year thing
Right.
that when they upgrade their equipment. But it's still there just didn't seem to be any enthusiasm in the industry, which is good. That means that we think there's a position to maybe make a play there. Just seemed like let's just keep doing how we've been doing it kind of mentality, and that's just, I mean, it works, but eventually you'll be out of business because you just stuck with doing it the old way for 60 years.
One thing I noticed with radios in cars, at least what you call the media system now, right, is that when they first came out with radios, and even as recent, the newest car I have is 2015, and it has a great radio. It has XM radio, but the apps that you have for plugging in iPhone and Android devices were horrible, unusable. And even some of the aftermarket radios I put in cars that have Bluetooth and USB, just frustrating the way the features don't work or whatever. But now my brother stopped by last weekend with a brand new Acura SUV. And he said, I didn't get the better radio. I said, what does that mean? He said, well, I didn't get the GPS. Okay. He said, I didn't want that. So he showed me it's big screen. Oh, I guess it's got to be at least an 8-inch screen or bigger. You plug in your device, and it now is puts your screen up on the screen inside the car in a new format. But you don't have to have a GPS. You plug your phone in. The phone is the GPS, and it feeds the screen, touchscreen.
So it's
now you
using
have-
it's an Apple phone.
Yes.
So it's got the
And-
Apple Kit car thing built into it.
I don't know what.
So you never go. You never get to your destination.
No, but the point is that they're finally starting to understand how to integrate this stuff. Now you don't have to buy if you bought a GPS for a car that built in.
Yeah,
It used to be you had to pay hundreds of dollars a year to get updated maps.
Yep.
And it was very expensive. Why would I do that when I could buy a handheld one that I
Right.
could update for free?
Right.
Yeah.
And keep up with the technology. So, but this was amazing. I mean, he plugged it in, and I said, "Oh, you have the GPS?" He goes, "No, it's in the phone."
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it looks something like this. This is Apple CarPlay, where you plug your phone into it, and Apple develops it, and the car manufacturers purchase some form of it.
It could be. I never saw this screen. He just showed me the map. So,
Yeah, I mean, essentially what it does is it just pulls some of your apps over, and they play through this. It just mirrors the UI in kind of a more it's more modern way, I guess you'd say.
It's not a screen mirror. It's actually reformatting it, and it, like you said, it's really very sophisticated. I liked it. RLL, MFM, SCSI, IDE, SATA. Yeah. The history of drives.
The history. All right.
But
Let's see.
I'd say quickly before we move on
Yeah.
that if anybody ever has the opportunity to go out to NAB, it's a very cool trade show, especially if you're interested in the video stuff.
Oh.
You don't want to go to the world of concrete?
No.
That was there the show before. I got in a couple of days early preparing for a show at the convention center,
Mhm.
and they were just putting away the world of concrete.
Well, right before
And-
we got there, we talked to our Uber driver. They've got they had the International Pizza Show at the convention center, which
International Pizza Show.
yeah, and I mean, but you think about it with all these industries, you think, well, and it's kind of the mentality that I was just describing, but it's, what could possibly be new in the pizza industry?
And how many
But as-
pizzas can they display?
But as with everybody, I mean, think about it. You go into any small town in America, there's a local pizza joint.
Mm-hmm.
Always, everywhere. Doesn't matter where you go, you can get a slice of pizza from not a chain.
Yeah.
There's always a small pizza place. So, I mean, those people, they need to buy ovens and platters and I mean, they buy their toppings and food and stuff from a distributor. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's just like our industry, just like everybody else's industry. It was just funny to hear about that.
Think about how they must struggle with getting a new idea. Like what can we come up with that's different?
Yeah, makes you
Yeah.
wonder. But they do,
Yeah,
because clearly they
it's
wouldn't be
like an
hosting
oven,
a
yeah.
damn trade show if they couldn't come up with anything to get.
Yeah.
No.
Just,
All right. Let's run into something here that we can also talk about. A businessman fighting for the right to be forgotten has won a high court action against Google. BBC reports that the man, who has not been named due to reporting restrictions surrounding the case, wanted search results about a past crime he had committed removed from the search engine. The judge ruled in his favor on Friday. So the rest of the story was that he didn't really, it wasn't like a big crime. He was accused of conspiracy to defraud somebody and he was in jail for 4 months. But there's more and more that you read about. People are trying to erase not only negative stuff, but to erase. I don't want people to know all this about me.
well, I think from what I read about the case was two things came out. One was requesting to get deleted. The second one was that when they said you clicked and you erased it, it didn't. That
Oh,
there
no,
was no
you're talking-
way to really remove it.
You-
Even if you said it, oh, I clicked it, it's gone. It's not gone.
You're talking about Twitter. That was
It's a
Twitter.
different
Yeah,
case.
that was Twitter that will not remove it. It was
No,
still
this,
there.
This was something related to this case that was
Oh.
just settled to say that
Okay.
there are, even if they say it's erased, you can't
It's not.
confirm it. There's no
Yeah.
way to actually say, because everything is archived somewhere, right? It might not be the company archiving it.
Yeah, and the problem is that once it's there, it's also on thousands of other places, other search engines, other
Yeah.
websites. I don't know that Google can actually Google can delete it from their servers,
But it's out of their control
but
from there.
yeah, it's a good thing if it could have been done.
Not to mention, well, and then there's the other side of it where Google may choose to delete something that they think, like look at the whole Facebook thing with
Well,
Diamond and Silk, right?
It's their system, and if they want to do it, they could.
They can.
That's a great example there, Spence. The whole
Diamond
diamond
and
and
Silk.
silk thing. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just they and it made Zuckerberg look like he is like an idiot.
Yeah.
Because-
Total jackass.
Yeah, and it's just you're as bad as some of these government guys who testify to say about, oh yeah, this is what we did, and they're lying. And but the implication that because somebody somewhere in a room is looking at something, so that's offensive. Well, in what context is it offensive, and how does that? Where does free speech come in? And yes, who was the senator? I was surprised. It was the Democrat senator that says your user agreement sucks.
I don't. Yeah, I saw that. I don't remember who it was,
I don't
but
remember who it was, but it was another senator, Dick Durbin, who actually said, "Okay, Mr. Zuckerberg, would you mind disclosing what hotel you stayed in last night?" And he 8-second pause. 8-second pause. No, I would. No, yes, I would not want to disclose it. Okay, well, what about telling us what you had for dinner yesterday? And it wasn't good. I don't want anybody to know. He said, well, isn't this the same thing that people should be able to ask for? You want to protect your own privacy, but you're telling us it's impossible to do it with your program, with your application, with your service. It was very revealing.
Alan's asked me quickly, how many halls did the convention center use? It had a center hall, 2 south halls, a registration hall, and a north hall. So four so hall, and then they had an outdoor area where they had news trucks and satellites, and
This was the Vegas Convention Center.
yeah,
That's huge.
So they had 4 or 5 different areas set up.
That's the one that's hooked into the Sands Hotel.
I don't remember
what used to be the Sands Hotel.
I don't know if it was. I don't remember if it was hooked into a hotel or not. I know that we took the.
I'm trying to remember.
We took the what would you call it? The train, the monorail. We took the monorail to it. It dropped you right off the convention. So it was at the Vegas Convention Center, but it was 4 or 5 halls. It was a very large show. To say there was over 2,000 vendors there.
Wow.
Yeah, watching this Zuckerberg or watching the Zuckerberg stuff was fantastic.
But you realize a couple of things. He's out of his league.
Oh yeah, totally.
He fell into this thing.
He wanted the publicity. He wanted to testify. He wanted to go up on the stage and show how great he was and show off. And now he's made himself look like an utter
but his
jerk.
fans still like him.
No, no, absolutely not.
The stock went up during the first day of testimony because they thought it was going to be a bloodbath, and it wasn't quite as bad as people predicted. But I don't know what happened to the stock the second day.
I mean, he just not a good look for faith. I mean,
no, it's not in general.
If I could say, I mean, there may be the writing on the wall. This may be a time for somebody else to come into the market and destroy faith. No, it's not going to be Gab because they're stupid. They don't know what they're doing.
But
a real social network.
First Amendment aside, yes, you do sign the user agreement as a private company.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nobody's arguing that.
And the shame about the whole thing is that people want to be followed and liked and noticed, but they don't understand really what that means. That your online life is different, separate from your regular life, and that people don't. It's created these terrible phobias out there and mental conditions about wanting to get likes, and how they've proven that getting a like gives you a dopamine rush. Incredible.
Yeah, and
you want to be recognized. You want your life to be valuable. You want other people to say, "Oh, that's so cool that you did that." We all
it makes you wonder at some point. The argument that's being made by people is that Facebook is so powerful that there needs to be some type of regulation on them. And I'm not a big fan of regulation, but it gets to a certain point where they're so powerful and so in control that they can no longer operate as a standalone company. There needs to be some type of regulation on them.
You know what I think is the most important regulation that we could come up with? It would be require education and make it clear what you can and cannot opt out of. So that when you sign it, people just blow through the EULA. Oh yeah, sign terms. Here's your updated statement. Click, you go. And used to be they would force you to at least to go to the bottom of the screen before you said okay, because that would at least imply that you actually read it. But they need to simplify the user agreement and actually make it to say, you are clicking to the terms and conditions right here. Do you acknowledge, yes, my information can be shared? Yes, there's some of this out there. I mean, when Microsoft created their each new release comes up with some new intrusion into your privacy that you actually have to go through, or they suggest you should really review this. And you go through and you realize there's all this sharing turned on that maybe you weren't even aware of. So I would like to see education, and I would like to see clear statements of how to opt in and opt out.
Yeah. But at some point, some third party is going to have to step in and say, all right, you've got something's got to change here.
Yeah.
And again, I am not under any circumstances a fan of a government or some group stepping in to control things. But your Facebook has got at this point probably more power than anybody on over a whole bunch of things. I wouldn't even just say the internet. The Facebook is a household name, and at some point they need to be held accountable by somebody.
Yep, that's what blew my mind when I was reading the story that they were actually talking with hospitals about getting patient data so they can cross-reference it with who needs the most care.
Oh,
I mean,
Amnon, but their identities would all be masks, no problem. Right?
Look at what we go. I mean, if Kathy, my wife, tries to call the doctor or the hospital to find out something about me, no, there's HIPAA.
Yes.
Well, what is this here? You're putting it on. Ooh, that changed the tone over there. Now you're going to put it on social media? Give me a break.
Well,
Good
I think
morning.
that they were looking for. Oh, sorry.
Good morning. Who's that?
This is Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. I guess this is a good time to talk about how pleased I am with the way Microsoft does all their updates.
Uh-oh.
I prompted him to call, by the way. I told him he had to call.
Yeah, I'm just so pleased that they'll get there and they'll update your system, and they want to do what they know you want to do. Yeah, they add all these video games to your program, to your computer, and they just add all this nice stuff.
Larry's machine was almost rendered unusable.
Really?
Yeah, because of all the updates and crap that were on there. It was just it messed up his. Well, what was it? Was Firefox that messed up your screen reader?
Yeah.
Because Firefox, if you have a screen reader, it actually says on the Firefox support page that you should go with a long-term support version of Firefox, the one for corporations, because we're adding features and taking features out on such a quick basis that it might break your screen reader. And it did. It broke it. But Microsoft, his machine, what were the other things, Larry? I can't remember now, but it was just, it besides the adding all those, it added Candy Crush and all these games, like 5 games we'll put on
Disney characters
and it's, they don't tell you that you can actually delete them.
Yeah,
so
because the thing is, it would get there and add this junk, too much visual stuff, and of course people don't know the way the screen reader works. It reads what's on the screen, but if it's not a text on there, if what it is graphics, it can't read it. And I was trying to figure out what was going on with the thing, and it wasn't a text to tell me this is wrong or whatever. That's why I had to get Spence over to use his eyes to straighten the thing out. Anyway, I'm just so pleased with them, though. They're
You buying Microsoft stock today?
yeah. I'm gonna use
me
all
too.
of
I'm
Nick's
gonna go out
money
and
and
buy as
buy
much as I
stock.
would. It's I've had lots of issues. I think I talked about this other one. A customer of mine had an application where it was a very small network, just two PCs. One PC actually had the shared folder with the data for his application. It was a tax archiving and document retrieval program that worked with the tax prep program. When you're done with preparing somebody's taxes, you say send to this other app, which would then in turn take those documents, make them into PDF and saves them, and have it listed by tax year. And it was very like an organized document repository. Very, very well done. It would save it in the native format that the tax forms were prepared and save it as PDF files. And you could also upload scanned documents. So we get the Windows update, and this was Windows 7. This wasn't even Windows 10. We get the Windows update, and the machine that has the shared folder that he needed to access to run it on his machine turned off all file sharing.
Well, this is exactly the opposite of what happened with me.
So after fixing that, went in and found out that it broke. There was a printer driver. The way it worked was the machine that he was working on, in order to save the file to the other machine, it actually had a special printer driver, proprietary printer driver that would write it to the application. You say save file as, and you'd say, I don't remember the name of what the driver specifically was called, but it was linked to the app and you'd save it. Well, it wouldn't work. I mean, first of all, file sharing was off, but even after that, the printer driver was gone. It just deleted it from the machine. So frustrating. And of course, you call the support for the company, and it's like, well, they don't want to admit that the update broke it. It's really not their fault. But at the same time, they're like, well, we've heard of a few people that are experiencing difficulties with this. There's got to be a lot of people. It's not just a few.
Yep. But Spence fixed it, right? Larry.
Do what?
Spence fixed it?
Yeah.
I turned the machine off. That fixed it.
Yeah, he took it. The power cord, he put it in his pocket and took it home with him. I don't have any problems with it now.
That's right. I cut the ends off all the cords.
But anyway, I just wanted to let you know how pleased I am with all their updates that they do.
They're really looking out for your best interests.
Really.
Yep.
Well, I'll let y'all get back to your other thing. I just wanted to let you know how pleased I was.
Thanks for calling, Larry. It's good to hear from you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye, Larry. 919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype.
Yeah, Pam's laptop got messed up too with a recent update. And then Firefox, if anybody's paying attention to the Mac side of Firefox, there's a major, it seems to be better now, but it would just bog the machine down. Firefox would be so slow. Eventually, you'd have to go in. If you cleared the cache out, it would work. It would help, but it didn't fix it. And it was a known problem where each new release of Firefox for Mac would just bring this machine to his knees. And finally, they've got one now, the newer update. I had to uninstall and reinstall it. It's better. And I just liked what I've been with Firefox for so long. I was staying with it and moving forward. So all my PCs and the Mac are all basically the same functionality and look, but couldn't keep up with it on the Mac. It just broke it. What's the new version of it called? Amnon Firefox?
I don't know what.
Ultra, Mega, or something. I forget what they
Oh,
call it.
I don't use it, so I'm not that. I think I need to start using it though, because I'm
My
getting
problem is that I've got so many bookmarks that I keep
well.
moving forward from version to version. I tried to import them into Chrome, and it just
I want to go away.
scrambled its brains.
I need to get away from Chrome. In my situation here, I'm finding out I save passwords in Chrome. Many that you know. Occasionally, you go here and there, and I'm finding out in the last 2 3 weeks that some of them just disappear. They're no longer there, and I go and look for them, and they're not there. And I go to the site, and I have everything written down. So I go and I log in, and it doesn't even offer to save them. So it thinks that it's already there for some reason, but it's not there. I mean, could it be my uh, installation? Sure, but it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Why do you want to get away from Firefox?
No, I don't want to. I'd like to stay with it. I like it, but because I have so many bookmarks and folders that I've created, when you import them into another browser, it doesn't. It says other bookmarks from Firefox. It says it doesn't actually pull it in under the same format.
Oh, but
So
you can move them.
you can, but I
Yeah.
have so many unknown. I tried to sit down one day and tried to, or I need to synchronize what I need to do. I used to have uh, the sync feature of Firefox working, and that something happened to that and it broke. What was the other sync that you could use? It was around for a while. They went out of business. It was a sync app that you could run for
Uh, I don't know.
bookmarks.
I never sunk
But
them.
whatever it was is gone. But um,
No, I don't know.
so
Yeah,
and
but
Rover suggested Sea Monkey,
Sea
which is
Monkey.
a browser. Or I don't know what it is here. Free open source former Mozilla application suite. Okay. Continuation of the former Mozilla application suite using the same source code.
Hmm.
Oh, we're going to check it out then. Add on. Yep.
Um.
Oh, by the way, for passwords, LastPass
Yeah.
is an excellent because you can log in from any machine, but when you log out, it's gone. You don't have to save it on that machine. And I save a lot of passwords and information in LastPass. I'm very
My
happy.
point about passwords and using services like LastPass, I feel like the chances of somebody trying to break into my machine to get the password are a lot less than the chances that somebody is going to try to break into LastPass to get password. It's like if you have $1 in your pocket and nobody's going to come to rob you if they know that's what you have. But if you walk around and you flash hundreds of dollars, chances are somebody's going to come and rob you. Those places that store passwords, I mean, they're unless they keep them really, really tight, which for some reason I'm seeing that a lot of companies don't spend the time and effort to do that, then I'd rather keep them locally. And of course, now it all depends on the circumstances, what you do. I mean, if you're a lot out there, uh, you're a salesman, you're whatever, and you're out and about, and you need to get to your passwords through some other computers, yeah, you're going to have to do that, but you have to be pretty careful what you do. Uh, there was, I remember at the beginning of the year, or last year, LastPass was compromised. Or was it OnePass? Is there a OnePass?
Well, it wasn't LastPass, I don't think.
Well, but I mean, the bad guys are after these companies that after these services, web services that store things that they can benefit from. And you go somewhere where there's a lot of fish. You don't go to a lake that they say, oh, yeah, we have 5 fish in here and you're welcome to fish.
Yeah. I guess we have to assume now that everything is compromised.
That's the problem. And talking about the terms of conditions that you were talking about before and everything, and on YouTube, I mean on Facebook, there's something. When's the last time you read those terms of use?
Just recently, when I forget what I updated,
Yeah.
and I actually went to the trouble. I scanned it. I mean, I went
All
through
right.
and I was looking for
So
certain
so listen
terms.
to this. Yahoo is now part of Oath. Apparently, it's a company, mother company. And there is a new privacy and terms contract. And CNET reports that Oath notes that it has the right to read your emails, instant messages, posts, photos, and even look at your message attachments. Now, that's Oath is saying that. But since Oath now is owns Yahoo, that's I need to change that tone. Jeez. Since they own them, now all your Yahoo mail, think about it, guys, they can read. And it might share that data with parent company Verizon. Look at this. It's like a snake. It's touching different parts of the yard at the same time. When you dig further into Oath's policy about what it might do with your words, photos, and attachments, the company clarifies that it's utilizing automated systems that help the company with security, research, and providing targeted ads, and that those automated systems should strip out personally identifying information before letting any humans look at your data. Yeah, right.
That's a good point to say that you got to look at what is the reason for being in business. And you could probably.
Hello?
Oh, just a second. Who's this? Hello? Oh.
Did we lose him?
That may have been somebody who by mistake called. Go ahead. That'll be what?
I was going to say that, do we really believe that all companies are in business for the betterment of mankind, or are they in business to make money?
Well,
You got to think about it. If you don't make money, you won't survive. So what good is it to be in business? So yes, there are companies out there, whether they're not for profit or just have the right attitude that they're doing things for the betterment of mankind. But you have to assume that they're not necessarily. They maybe don't have your best interests in mind.
none of these companies have your best interest. They have their best interest. Come
You
on.
look at what was the purpose of Facebook in the first place, and what you listen to
Yeah.
the founders, and they say, yeah, our goal was to try to get as many people online and gather as much information about them as we possibly could so we could use it.
Yeah.
It wasn't about, oh, we want to create a great, the marketing people tell you, our purpose is to give you a good social media experience and to have fun with your friends and share with your family and all that stuff. No, it's to get information about you and to use it for gain.
Yeah. Well, of course.
And just, if you're in business, nobody's, what did they used to say? Nobody's in business to lose money. Not unless if you're a standalone company.
The thing goes on to say there are no explicit guarantees on that they will strip your identity or details about your identity. The update also warns that Auth is now linking your activity on other sites and apps with information we have about you, and providing anonymized and or aggregated reports to other parties regarding user trends. For example, Auth may analyze user content around certain interactions with financial institutions and leverages information financial institutions are allowed to send over email. I mean, it's Alan is saying that Yahoo is already being compromised every week. This is here that's not compromise. This is you compromising your rights. If I was using Yahoo at this point, reading all this, I would probably go and get me an email somewhere else and
But
start
but
doing.
you've already given them access to all this information. So
Right.
what?
Yeah. That
So
you
what's the problem?
well, you give it to them because you didn't know that they are going to do that. Now that they spell it out, that's the difference. Okay,
Well,
now
of-
you're telling me that you're doing it. A lot of people, are not aware. And like I said, Nick, when did you read term of use? I don't read term of use.
No, but I mean, but I also don't care when companies say they're going to start selling the information or something like that.
No,
I mean, that's just
yeah. Not to care is because there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do about it is stop the flow of information from you to them.
yeah, but
That's
that's
all.
not realistic. I mean,
Well,
let's look for a realistic situation. What are you going to do? Run your own mail server?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not a realistic situation.
Yeah, the point of this is that most of these things are free,
Right.
and
They're free for a reason.
is that they're free for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing, and if you're, I mean, it's not a surprise that the human data is worth more than the service itself. Look at how much money Twitter is worth. Look at how much money
Mhm.
Instagram. I mean, how much did Instagram get sold for to Facebook? However many hundreds of millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about how
They don't make
much
any
of a
damn money.
public service they provided, because 40 years ago, a marketing organization, how did they get their information? They called you and said, would you like to take a survey?
Yeah.
And they call you, they take 15 minutes out of your evening. So if you had to choose between Lay's potato chips and Fritos, which one would you choose? And that's how they got their information. The information was, they asked the questions. Now they can just go and glean it from billions and billions and trillions of disk drives out there holding all this information.
Yep.
Did you catch? What did you guys think about the statement that Zuckerberg made about AI?
Oh, how it's going to take over in the next 10 years?
20 years, and then I actually posted this article. I use Gab sometimes, but I posted this article that I read about AI, and it was exactly what I was what I was thinking is that, people write the AI software. People train the so-called learnable engine of AI. So it is going to reflect the attitudes and opinions of the person that created it. There is no escaping that. You can't build it in a vacuum. It is the product of what people put into it. So if you build something, your own biases will be part of it. Who who mines the store basically to know how the AI is not going to be independently thinking. Gosh, I hope it never becomes this. You see these science fiction things where it does. Self-aware, conscious. It's going to be just a fast way of taking information and comparing it against the rules that someone writes to come up with a solution to an answer to a problem. So AI will be, it's not going to be, well, it'll make the decision based on what it considers to be offensive. Well, that offense is going to be built by the guy who writes the software. I'm sorry. It's not going to be this independently unbiased thing. Oh, well.
Well.
Open the pod door, Hal. That's great, John. Yep. Can you imagine Kubrick saw this stuff back in the early 60s when the movie was first being developed?
Mm-hmm.
He was way ahead of time. He predicted touchscreens back then. Amazing. And all the computer graphics that are shown in the movie are all animation. There was nothing that could do that at the time. Very, very forward thinking.
Mm-hmm. All right, Spence, you ready to do specials?
Yeah, give me like 30 seconds to get to the right screen here. Here we are. And
What the hell is that?
we're there. So Amnon, how do you get your picture in these ads?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what's going
That's
on there?
amazing. How you do it? All right, are we ready?
Yep.
All right. So Computers 2K Now specials for April 15th, 2018. And by the way, it is not tax day yet. You actually get till the 17th for some reason this year before you have to file your taxes. So if you're out there going, oh my God, I didn't do it yet, you still have 2 days to get them postmarked. So starting out with laptops, we look at Best Buy, and they have a Dell 15.6-inch AMD A6 entry-level laptop for $239, which is $40 off. Office Depot has a Dell 15.6-inch i3, a step up from entry level for $359, which is $140 off. Staples has a Dell Core i5 for $519, which is $180 off. Desktop all-in-one, we've got at Best Buy an AMD A12 Idea Center from Lenovo. It's 12 gig machine, $479, save $50. Office Depot has the Dell Core i5 Inspiron desktop, Inspiron, however you want to say it, $499, which is $180 off. And Staples has a slimline Intel Pentium quad core entry-level desktop for $269, $45 off.
Hmm.
Tablets. We
Tablet.
have at what kind of tablet do you want? Best Buy has a Microsoft Surface Pro 12.3 inch. That's a small screen. Intel Core i5 for $799. That's $200 off. Is that the very latest model? I wonder. I didn't drill down into it. Office Depot has a New Vision 8-inch Android tablet, 1 gig of memory, 16 gig of storage for $69, which is 10 off the regular price. And Staples has a Samsung Galaxy Tab A 10.1-inch tablet for $229. That's $50 off. Networking at Best Buy, you got a Linksys AC1200 dual band router for $79.99. That's 10 off. Office Depot has a Linksys Velop whole home Wi-Fi mesh system for $449. That's not the best price that's out there, but that's the only thing they had in the ad today. $50 off. If you're a Costco member, they have a mesh system now on sale in the store. I don't remember which one it was, but 3 base station and two slaves for, I think it's just a little over $300. What?
You said slaves.
Oh, the master and oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, base station and remotes. All right. Staples has a Netgear AC 1750 smart Wi-Fi router for $109, save $20. And it's important to mention when we talk about storage, which is our next subject, is that most of these routers now will have a USB share port, at least one, and very valuable. I mentioned this before. You take one of these USB hard drives, or you can even put a thumb drive in there, and it will now share it under Windows networking to anybody on the network and use it as a destination for backed up files. So, okay, storage. Best Buy has a Samsung 860 gig, no, 500 gig. I'm sorry, the model number is 860 EVO, 500 gig solid state drive for $144.99, save $25. Office Depot Office Max has 2 Western Digital Elements portable external hard drives. I've got a 2 terabyte for $69.99, 40 off, and a 1 terabyte for $49.99, which is $25 off. Staples has a Seagate Backup Plus 6 terabyte drive for $129. That would be a perfect candidate to plug into one of these routers, and that's $10 off. And accessories, Logitech 4K Pro webcam. This is from at Best Buy, $159.99, which is $40 off the regular price. I have no experience with this yet, but from what I read and what I see, people are like this. Although 4K, you got to take that into account processor-wise too. What are you going to do with this if you're recording this? Amnon, in your case, could you handle 4K?
Yes, but the more important thing I think here, this is a webcam. Let's not forget what a webcam was created for.
Right.
And if you are a grandma sitting in a small town and you have a DSL at 384K, I hope that there is an automatic thing that would say, hey, you know, we're only going to use that. But yeah, it uses a lot of bandwidth too.
Yeah, I bet there's a way to throttle it down.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
If it's not automatic.
Caller, we're in the middle of specials. So,
no problem. I'll wait.
The what?
I will
wait. No problem.
Okay. Go ahead, Spence.
All right. So, Office Depot has an APC 900 VA battery backup system for $79.99, which is 20 off. And Staples has a Logitech 25-watt multimedia speakers and subwoofer for $39, which is $10 off the regular price. Monitors, we've got an HP 20.7-inch monitor at Best Buy for $89, which is 10 off, entry-level monitor. Office Depot has a 27-inch monitor for $169.99, which is $110 off. And Staples has an Acer 23.8 monitor for $99, which is $50 off the regular price. Best Buy has a Canon Pixma TS6120 wireless all-in-one printer for $69, which is $80 off the regular price. Office Depot has an Epson Workforce DS30 portable document scanner for $79.99, which is $70 off. And here's a show favorite, Brother MFC L2710DW. This is the Brother monochrome laser printer, all-in-one printer scanner fax copier that has a very good document feeder built in. So if you need to process lots of documents, the difference in price between this and the one without the document feeder is negligible.
Right.
It's a very handy machine. Good workhorses for home office. $149.99, which is $50 off the regular price. Occasionally, you'll see this a little cheaper. But this is pretty much the standard sale price throughout the retail space. Home automation and security, nothing that we see here today, unfortunately, is in the weekly ads, although some of these are on sale, independent of the ads. Best Buy has got Swan Pro Series, high definition, 8-channel, 4-camera, 2 terabyte DVR surveillance system for $399. That's $50 off. That is a good brand name.
Mm-hmm.
Been around for a while, well known, highly rated. There's lots of other companies out there building stuff. I have one that's a no name and it works fine, but the sophistication of the app is just not there. Office Depot has a D-Link DCS 5020L pan and tilt camera for $99, which is $20 off. And this is an expensive product, and I have no experience with this version of a Guardzilla camera. Wireless 360-degree video security camera. How do you look at a 360-degree picture?
You turn around.
Yeah, but what happens? Does that automatically mean that it makes your monitor into a 360-degree?
It's not. It means
experience.
It means it'll pivot 360 degrees.
I realize that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm just being ridiculous.
I apologize.
But 360-degree, which could be useful, but I think with pan and tilt, you can get the same functionality. In this case, $130 less. But so it could be valuable. It's interesting, but 229.
No.
Okay. And finally, at Fry's, we've got some interesting stuff to look at here. We've got an aluminum Bluetooth keyboard. It's pricey, but it's well made. Comes in 4 different colors if you're interested in colors. 1 year, says delivers 1 year battery life. This is designed for Mac, but will work with any Bluetooth device. Nice full size keyboard made out of extruded aluminum. $72, which is after $23 instant savings. Mini port to 4K HDMI adapter, $11. It's normally $19, so it's $8.99 off. CyberPower 8 outlet surge protector, and I put this in here not because, geez, it's such a great price. It is a good price, but it's something we don't talk about much. We're going into summer season now. We're going to have a lot more electrical storms, a lot more potential for surges. If you don't have, most people don't have whole house surge protection, they're actually relatively easy to install. They get hooked into your circuit breaker panel, and they protect the entire home. And they're not that expensive, but most people don't have it. Make sure that your sensitive electronics are on a quality surge protector. In this case, it's a 2700 joules surge protector. It's got both USB and regular outlets on it, electrical outlets. $14.99, $10 off. It's worth the investment. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you're networking between machines and it's across a wired connection, Ethernet connection, if one of your machines is on a surge protector and the other is not, they're both exposed because that surge could travel through the Ethernet connection to the protected machine. So keep in mind that all PCs in some way should be on a surge protector. You'll learn that through experience. CyberPower 450 VA battery backup, $39. Great entry level machine for backing up your internet connection in your home. If you've got a terminal adapter for voice over IP, if you've got a wireless router, if you've got your cable or DSL modem or fiber optic to Ethernet converter, back it up with this so that when you do get these dips and surges and blinks, that your internet doesn't go down or get damaged. This is an interesting device here. iKeyless. It is a universal remote for cars. It doesn't work with every car. You can check. Some of them need to be programmed at the dealership, but it's worth looking. $14.99. That's cheap. It's $10 off the regular price. So if you are missing the remote from a car, you lost one, and you want to try to get a replacement, this is take a look at this. So it says 16 of the top 20 most popular vehicles. What would that be? A 60% hit rate? So, or something like that, but, or 80%. So it's out there if you're looking for a cheap alternative, if you're going to put in the time and program it, if it's programmable by the actual user. 2 options for tracking your vehicle or whatever type of device. Car Marine GPS tracker. This is a hardwired tracker, gets put in, connected directly to the battery system. I believe it is a subscription service, but if you've got a high value asset you're trying to protect, here's a good deal. Normally $149 is $30 off. And then we've got the Spot satellite theft tracking device, which is a stick-on device or attached to a device. I don't know if it's meant to be used 24/7. It can be used 24 hours a day, and that one says service contract required. So I don't know if the first one actually requires it or not. But if you would like to have something that you can stick on a teenager's car to check out where they're going, to make sure they're really going where they say they're going, it gets kind of interesting here as to whether we promote this or not. But here you have, it's normally $99, it's $20 off the regular price. And one thing, if you are a fan of Fry's, is that you should really take advantage of their promo code system. They do want you to sign up with an email where you'll get these daily deals. some of them are actually quite good, like that HGST 4 terabyte desktop NAS drive for $99. You've got to sign up and get the actual promo code to get that deal. But
4
it's worth looking
terabyte.
at them. You know,
Wow.
isn't that something? HGST 4. It doesn't say remanufactured. So, but even if it was remanufactured, it would still be a good price for a NAS drive. And that's it for specials for April 15th, 2018.
All right. Thanks, Spence.
You're welcome.
All right, let's the caller's been patient. Who's calling in? Caller.
Yeah.
Sam.
There you are.
Sam.
Yeah,
Is
hello?
that Sam?
Yeah.
Yes, Sam. Hello.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. I was wondering, what are your views on the flat Earth theory?
Oh my gosh. You really want to get into that? Well, tell us what
me
your
personally, I believe the
impression
Earth
is
is fully
first.
flat. Sorry?
Oh, tell us what your impression is first. I've read about it. I can't say
All right.
that I
So about 2 years ago, if you came up to me and said the Earth was flat, I would just call you like stupid, you know. But recently, my friend who actually he converted to atheism recently, he showed me a couple documentaries about the flat Earth versus the round Earth, and it just it blew my mind. And right now, I'm a full flat Earth believer. I believe it makes more sense to me, and yeah, that's my impression of the flat Earth.
you and there's a lot of people out there. If you go and you look on YouTube and other places for these documentaries, and there's message boards, you can go and talk about this. There are some people like you who are convinced.
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
So let's hypothetically say the Earth is flat. How does that affect and change our everyday lives in any meaningful way?
That's a very good question.
That's always been my argument. I'm not trying to.
No. It's a great question.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like we're going to
I
fall
don't
off the side of
think
the Earth.
it
if
would
it's
really
flat.
affect us that much, to be honest, as it would just be, the Earth is flat, you know? So I don't think it would really affect it that much. I think a lot of people will be hateful against NASA and the other space agencies for lying this whole time. But I think other than that, I think nothing will really change.
Gotcha.
I've always thought about this, about when they talk about how the moon landings were hoaxes, and the effort that would have to go into pulling that off. The same way with the flat Earth, to have, I mean, think about the enormous amount of effort and all the people you'd have to read into this in order to. That's the only question I have, is like,
John,
with anything like this, it's like, how many people would you have to have involved in order to put forward this idea and make it believable? So
John
I
is
don't know.
asking an
I
interesting.
haven't read enough about it to really make a statement.
John is asking an interesting question. Say, if the Earth is flat, where's the edge? You know, and I would hate to be a flat Earth believer all my life and then have a chance to go into space. If I'm young enough and have a chance to go into space and look at the Earth and say, wow, look at that. It is a ball.
Yeah,
it
but
is
you would
round.
have to take the blue. You'd have to take the blue pill
No.
to do that
Yep.
when you came back.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't remember what you saw.
There was something, what's his name? Somebody on one of the news broadcasts was talking about it, and he was saying, so if it's flat, so what's on the bottom? If it's flat, there's a bottom. Who's on the bottom? Australia? What's on the bottom? And that's a good question. You know, I mean, it's obviously.
That is a great question. Yeah. Well, the documentaries I've watched, there's a couple of theories. One theory is that it's just like crust and mantle under there, and some say there's lava under there.
Uh-huh.
To be honest, I don't really know what's under there. But
My best guess would be like magma and lava because it just makes more sense. But like to be honest, I don't know what's under there, man.
So it's in carrying that forward, is the moon fake?
Well, the moon
Or is
landing,
a
it
flat-
would have
is it a
been
flat
much
disk?
harder to fake it than to actually go there. So I think the moon landing was actually real. Because there was a video, I think released, I forgot which YouTube channel, but they said that like the technology to fake the moon landing back then would have been way harder than to actually go to the moon. So I think the moon landing was real.
No.
Check out the video done by NVIDIA, the graphics folks, where the big contention about one of the pictures from the lunar landing was how if the sun is the only source of light, did you get things that are in the shadow of the limb being lit up so well? And these folks went and they recreated that picture using digital graphics and were able to study that picture. And it's very compelling video. It's actually the head of the graphics development at NVIDIA who gives the presentation. Talks about how it was a reflective quality of the soil, dust, granules, whatever you want to say on the moon's surface.
We can get into this and never stop talking about it.
No, it's interesting. It's interesting to read. Like I said, like Nick says. So how does that change my everyday life?
It does.
Hi, my name is Art Bell. You're listening to Coast AM on one of our six stations across the country. This is Coast to Coast AM.
Yeah.
You call in. You can call in on the Believers or the Deniers line.
East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
We have another caller who's into the conversation here.
All right.
Hello,
Thanks, Sam.
Hello.
What is that? You calling again and again?
Who?
Now we have a different caller.
What do we have on the line?
All right. I mean, I'm.
Hello. Hello.
Who's
Yeah,
calling in?
Oh, it's Abdul.
Oh, hi, Abdul.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Yeah. Hi. How are you?
Good.
Well,
Amnon, you're being what's called being trolled.
Yeah,
right now,
I know.
so,
But it's a great practice as far as the conferencing, which we didn't do in a long time, and I'm glad to see it's working here. Yeah, caller.
Sorry.
All right.
Okay, you can call. You can.
There we go. Oh.
Okay, turn the fader down and give it a break.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. So I like what Alan said. That said if where he said the underneath is another parallel Earth, which is that would be nice. Can go around and go back and see myself there.
Did you guys see
what's the rogue planet that's the invisible rogue planet that's supposed to be? It was supposed to every so many weeks there's a date it's supposed to appear, and then they have to keep adjusting the date.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, did you hear? I just saw it on the news. Art Bell died.
Yeah, he did die. Did you see that? What's his name? Julian Assange was cut off from the internet this week.
Yes.
His what embassy is he in? The Ecuadorian embassy in the UK, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So his internet access was revoked this week. So he is now silent again, and it'll be interesting to see what.
I heard rumors that they were going to let him out. They were going to pardon him. All these things were happening, and I guess it didn't happen.
Now, obviously, he's the buzzword when it comes to Russian collusion. Julian Assange apparently or allegedly worked with the Russians so well, according to the government. But now that he's offline, obviously his group he's not the only one that is WikiLeaks. His group is still posting and tweeting and stuff like that, but his Twitter account, I believe, has been silent since then.
You know, I mean, it's
Nibiru is the mystery planet that's supposed. Well, they predicted last year that would wipe us out before the end of 2017, but it didn't happen.
Oh, there you go.
it didn't happen.
No. But it might have
Anyhow.
happened in a parallel universe. We don't know. We might have been in the correct universe to survive, whereas the other universe got whacked.
So the Apple HomePod,
Yeah.
smart speaker, is not selling very well, according to Bloomberg. By late March, Apple had lowered sales forecasts and cut some orders with Inventec, one of the manufacturers that built the HomePod for Apple. It says at first it looked like the HomePod might be a hit. Pre-orders were strong, and in the last week of January, the device grabbed about a third of the U.S. market, speaker market, in unit sales. According to data provided to Bloomberg, that they grabbed the third. But by the time HomePods arrived in stores, sales were tanking. Even when people had the ability to hear these things, it still didn't give Apple another spike. And, you know, you need to wonder why.
Because they're a pain in the ass to use.
Did you see what? Did you ever see? I've never seen one.
You're talking about the EarPod or the HomePod?
Yeah, the HomePod.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the problem. It's the same issue that Google Home has got. It doesn't have the integration like
Alexa,
Alexa does with the Echo.
And
Every
it's $349 at launch.
Yeah,
know
I
what
mean-
it's selling for now, but
Here's the thing: if you're one of these San Francisco people that everything you own is a product of Apple Computer Company, I'm sure something like this is great. But for most people that have got a mix of computers and maybe not a MacBook and just an iPhone, it doesn't do you any good. So that's the problem with it. It's very, as Spence saying, very expensive. It doesn't have and support the services that
Yeah, but
Even-
it's
even-
Apple.
Yeah, but here it doesn't matter if it's Apple. The whole thing is home automation, home use. If
It
you don't
just-
have any of the devices, it
just
doesn't do any
works.
good.
It just works.
It does just work. It works great, but not with any of the devices. Now, if you're
Yeah.
a fan, if you use HomeKit, which is Apple's own proprietary home automation, I guess API, I guess what you call it, and it works great. But most people don't have anything that links up to HomeKit.
I'm
It's
not
just way too
familiar with
expensive. I
that.
mean, you're talking $400 to get this thing. Plus, you got to start buying. Then you got to buy accessories for it. This is a $600-700 endeavor once you get done with it.
But that doesn't mean anything to Apple.
is this an
users.
example of the mentality that I saw years ago working for other companies? Like if we build it, they will come. And it didn't matter what it cost. It didn't matter whether it was deficient in features, because it was this brand, people will buy it. And maybe maybe this product was that.
Well, see, they will with Apple. This is the difference between the HomePod and an iPhone. You go ahead and you go buy an iPhone. You drop $1,100, $1,500, $2,000, whatever, however much it costs. It works as its own device. It doesn't require you to. I mean, you get a cell
Right.
phone contract from some provider, and you've got your phone. It works great. But with this HomePod, it doesn't really do a whole lot by itself. It'll play music and talk to you and tell you the weather, but its main benefit is to work with other devices, do things differently.
I need it. I need to have it so I can tell it, HomePod, what shirt and tie should I wear today?
Yeah, and then that that would.
Oh
that
wait, there's
require-
there's no camera, so I can't do that.
there's no camera, but it requires other devices to hey, Siri, do this, do that, text, and it'll do cool stuff like it'll text through your iPhone. I like that, but turn up your thermostat, turn down your thermostat. That is all stuff that requires you to have devices, and those things are expensive, man. Even those even those little switches we bought are almost
Yeah.
$40 a piece, $30 a piece.
Yeah.
You got to buy a home kit to get that stuff to work.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
The home automation stuff.
I mean, looking at this, you look at here's a 4-pack of Philips light bulbs that work with HomeKit, it's $55 for them. It's just, it's an expensive endeavor.
Amnon,
Well-
if you need LED fluorescent replacement bulbs that work with just about any 4-foot fixture,
Yeah.
Costco has a 2-pack for $15. Very good.
You don't have to change the.
Ballast. Nope. I have it in this old, like the plant light that I put it into is
Wow.
probably 50 years old. This old,
Yeah.
literally white, like enameled light fixture from who knows where. It was old when
It doesn't
I was
matter.
a
It's old.
teenager.
Yeah.
I think I replaced one of the ballasts, but it's an analog ballast. It's not a digital ballast.
Mhm.
And I put that sucker in there, and it's 1,700 lumens per bulb. And it's more than twice the output of the 40-watt bulb that I replaced.
And they are 40s.
They're 15 watts a bulb.
Oh, so 15.
So 30 watts,
So
instead of
it's
80
six-
watts, you're doing 30 watts and you're getting double the light output.
Yeah, and we have
And
one that has
15,000 hours.
four bulb fixture in the kitchen, which will be great for
30
that.
bucks. Cost you 30 bucks to update it.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, but you're saving a bunch.
Yeah, and you don't have to. And now, if you went with the direct wire type, I think there's 3 different kinds. There's the kind that are universal that will work with any fluorescent fixture, 4-foot fixture.
Yeah.
Then there's the kind that will work only with digital ballasts. And then there's the kind that are direct wire, where you pull out the ballast, it's 120 volts, where you replace the clips on either end. You only need to apply power to one end of it's a fully self-contained standalone LED fixture.
I just replaced the ballast, but I don't remember about digital. I think it is. It comes on right. You turn it on its own. I mean, it's not like. You know what I mean?
Well,
So I guess
I
that's
tried
digital.
it. I saw it. It probably was you probably could find them online, but this is that Fight Electric company.
Yeah.
That makes decent quality stuff.
I don't know.
I've got a lot of the bulbs in the house.
Yeah.
Don't buy Utilitech.
Well,
And
I
think
mean,
they're available at
Spence.
Home Depot or Lowe's.
Spence, I guess if you turn them on and off and stuff like that, it's okay. But I have like the light in the studio. I mean, in the office and on the bench, and there are 2 of them, and they're on all the time, 24/7. And after about 3-4 weeks, they're beginning to not flicker like on and off, but enough that you think, what just turned on that dimmed it for a second? And I
That's funny
always
because conventional wisdom is that leaving the bulb on is better than turning it on and off.
yeah,
Times.
but I was getting really worried, thinking, what is it, the home AC now, the ground, something wrong with it? Because it was doing it a lot, and all you can think of is something somewhere is maybe shorting, beginning to short, and it's causing the light to dim. Turned out it was the bulb. So I'm not using those there anymore. I'm using the ones from Home Depot, and it's fine. So
What,
I guess
GE, are they low cost bulbs or the GE ones?
these are the Fate from.
No, that's what Fine Electric. Yeah, they have. I heard the owner of
I
this
don't know.
company interviewed one time on the radio, and they were a company that was still building 100-watt bulbs after the ban because they got an exception to build rough service bulbs. So that's how they were still building 100-watt incandescent bulbs. But I have several A19 bulbs in bathrooms and such, where I bought Utilitech bulbs, put them in, and within 6 months they would die.
No.
And that was just casual use. But the Fight bulbs seem to last. I don't know if they're as good as Cree. Cree's very good.
Yeah.
And has a great warranty. At Home Depot, if you walk into Cree, they will actually hand you, walk in with a Cree bulb at Home Depot, they will hand you another bulb.
Nick,
It's the
what
only
kind of light
manufacturer
bulb do
that
you
does it.
use around? Nicholas,
that- What's that?
What kind of light bulbs do you use?
Meaning
I'm talking. No, Nick. Is he not there?
he's not there, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he stepped away.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm in the process of converting all my CFLs to LEDs.
Yeah, we don't have any more CFLs. Everything is LED,
I have a few.
and
Yeah.
and it's fine. I mean, anyway, Gmail. Did you hear about it?
Something new?
There's going to be an update to Gmail, and it might include a feature which would allow users to send emails that expire after a user-defined period of time. It says working on an email service is hard, as you have to be compatible with all sorts of email providers and email clients. But it doesn't seem to be stopping Google, as the company is now evolving beyond the simple POP3 IMAP SMTP protocols. Based on those screenshots that they don't have, expiring emails work pretty much like expiring emails in Proton Mail. After some time, the email becomes unreadable. In the compose screen, there's a tiny lock icon called confidential mode. It says that the recipient won't be able to forward email content, copy and paste, download, or print the email. That's interesting.
But it only expires at the user, or does it expire off the server?
It expires at the user.
Well, that's actually pretty useful.
And I would think that it will expire on Gmail server also.
But think about it. What has to happen in the, well, if it's, can they say for sure that it will work with all email clients?
This is still in the, I mean, like they said, it might include. They don't say whether it will work with this or that or where or how, but they're going to a different system, and that system may actually help curb spam as we know it. I always, I mean, providing emails is a real, I mean, it's a job. It requires most of the resources. And we always said that it has to be one of the big guys like Google or Microsoft that will change the way it's done. And then we can stop spam. Sure, I can stop spam on my servers. But I'm going to block a lot of legitimate mail too.
So does that mean that BleachBit is out of business?
I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see first that this is actually working. But it's a very interesting concept.
So you don't have to rub it like with a cloth?
Yep.
Oh boy.
So I want to be my next president.
Hmm.
I was listening to your conversation about the expiring emails.
Yeah.
There's no way it's going to get deleted from the server. You can almost guarantee, you can almost bet your life that Google's not going to delete it from their server.
Yeah.
But you could also screenshot the email. So I wouldn't I wouldn't send anybody a lucrative message and be like, oh, and they won't be able to show it to anybody.
Right.
I mean, they can take a picture of the screen with their cell phone. They could take a screenshot.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And I don't know how they would disallow copy paste. I mean, you inspect the element. And
will the new feature be called Wiener Mail?
Let's see what Sam wants this time. Sam, is that you again? All right. I think it's the same phone number. No, it's not.
It's somebody calling from the other side of the earth, the flat side of the earth.
Hey,
saying
Sam.
There is actually a parallel universe there.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wanted to ask, what are your views on aliens and are humans?
Okay, I'm not going to get into this again.
Oh wow, really? You didn't fall, you fell for that really good. I mean, really? Come on.
There's another show opportunity. Come on.
Yeah, I know. It's a different show. That's right. Send us emails. Say that you want to have a show about aliens, and I'll be more than glad to take my mask
will
off and
absolutely-
show my real
I
self.
can't say
And
I could participate in it full time, but I would be more than happy to get on a show talk about aliens.
yeah, this is not the show or the time to do that here. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how this works, Nick. Um, there are ways in code right now that you can stop people from looking at source code, copying and pasting. But they're very easily circumvented.
Yeah, like right clicking, inspecting the element.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it, but not for your regular user who knows I
No.
can go in there and just highlight it and copy it. No. Well, so who knows what Google came up with? We'll just have to wait and see. But it's so Wiener Mail, you said, Spence?
I said that would be a good name for a Wiener Mail.
I'm not getting into
The
this.
pictures are automatically.
I'm not getting into this. All right. Now, I know the other day Mike was talking in the Hangout about what to do with cryptocurrency, and I know that a lot of people are into it. Nearly 438 Bitcoins, whole coins, worth nearly $3.5 million, were stolen from a top exchange firm in India in what is being billed as the biggest cryptocurrency theft in the country so far. The exchange, which has over 200,000 users across the country, found that all the Bitcoins that were stored offline had vanished. It was later found that the private keys, which are the password that is kept by the company and is stored offline, were leaked online, leading to the hack.
So when you call Dave Ramsey
Uh-huh.
and ask him if you should invest in Bitcoin, and he tells you no, this is exactly why, because literally all of your money is gone.
Yeah.
And there's not and when I mean this, I mean it. There's literally not a damn thing you can do. Literally
There's nothing. Right.
You are completely SOL.
It says that the company tried to trace the hackers, but found that all the data logs of the affected wallets had been erased, leaving no trail about where the Bitcoins were transferred.
Is that inside the company or in the blockchain?
I don't know. Listen,
How could
wait,
they
listen.
possibly do that?
CoinSecure, a Delhi-based cryptocurrency exchange, is accusing its CSO
Oh yeah, there you
of
go.
siphoning off the money from the firm's wallet.
That's a way to do it.
The exchange is urging the government to seize his passport, fearing that he may leave the country. So
that's how I do it.
I mean, and again, there's nothing you can do. Did they look at this? They didn't ask the government to go and arrest him. They didn't. No, stop him from leaving the country because they know that even they cannot do anything. You can't accuse somebody of stealing something that doesn't exist.
There you go.
It is ridiculous. It is
Business
really
opportunity. You can start to actually get yourself a machine that mints coins, and we'll start making bitcoins.
make them out of bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, realistically, this is the whole reason I really have no interest in any of this stuff. It's not a legitimate source of investment.
No, and there was a story about 3 weeks ago that we never got to that said that the guy from Twitter, who's the CEO or whatever, says that in 10 years that's going to be the only currency in the world.
Now, I will agree that there may be some type of blockchain-ish currency I wouldn't disagree with that, but there's got to be something with some protection from some organization or some group.
Well, China says they want to develop electronic currencies.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, we'll take China's.
Yeah,
They're
and
great.
that way they can monitor your money with all those stealth chips that they put in all the
Yep.
devices. So
Yeah, it's not.
know,
yeah,
that's insane to think that 10 years from now there will only be electronic currency, and then we get hit with the electromagnetic pulse, and all records are wiped out, and then we're all sitting there going like, I had money in my 401k. Sorry,
It's
gone.
gone.
yeah, and that's the exact argument. Is that's the FDIC regulates stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't that happen on what was the show? Robot, what's his name?
I know what you're talking about, Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot. Didn't that happen where they took out the world's largest bank,
Yeah, they
wiped out all their records, and people were coming in, I'd like to withdraw money, so we have no idea how much you have.
Yeah.
Well, I need $100 to buy this. Sorry, we can't give it to you. We don't know.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Interesting.
All right.
So there you go.
Go ahead.
Another great example of cryptocurrency at its finest. Stolen, no trace. You are out of luck.
Now, we all seen those hard drives and electronics that have labels on them, and especially on hard drives where it says, if this sticker is removed, warranty is void.
Yeah.
Well, apparently that is not legal. So it says that the Federal Trade Commission put 6 companies on notice, telling them in a warning letter that their warranty practices violate federal law. If you buy a car with a warranty, take it to a repair shop to fix it, then have to return the car to the manufacturer, the car company isn't legally allowed to deny the return because you took your car to another shop. The same is true of any consumer device that costs more than $15, though many manufacturers want you to think otherwise. Companies such as Sony and Microsoft pepper the edges of their game consoles with warning labels telling customers that breaking the seal voids the warranty. That's illegal. Thanks to a 1975 Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, no manufacturer is allowed to put repair restrictions on a device it offers a warranty on. Dozens of companies do it anyway, and the FTC has put them on notice. Apple, meanwhile, routinely tells customers not to use third-party repair companies, and aftermarket parts regularly break iPhones due to software updates.
So is the decision based on the label, or is the decision based on you're not allowed to tamper with the device?
You are. I would say that both of them. I would say that you are allowed to tamper with the device, and it should. And they say it will not break the warranty.
I don't agree with that.
Well, to a point, yeah. If you go in and you screw it up, that's a different story.
They'll come up with another way to do it. The label is convenient right now, but what they'll do is they'll put a proprietary screw on there that's meant to snap off when you try to remove it.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, well, this screw is missing. You tampered with the case. There's got to be some protection from tampering.
Yeah, and there should be, because it's not the
right.
company should not be responsible for dealing with you being stupid and just breaking your device.
Now, a car might be a different thing, but if you open a hard drive up, there's no way that's going to survive.
Right. Well, it will survive, but not for long.
No, but not for long. You're contaminated the inside. Yeah. The higher the density of the drive, the more likely you've just wiped the data out.
Right.
So,
but it's interesting that it's interesting to know.
Now, if the reason why is because a guy had a kid who saw the label and peeled the label off because it was shiny, and then had a warranty issue, if that's what they're saying, come up with a different way to verify tampering. But if it's because they're against people opening something to look inside, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. Yep.
If you peel that label off a hard drive, all of the data leaks out through that little hole. You don't want to do it. if you put the label right back on, then you might be able to save some.
But did you know that there is a hole for the data to leak out? Because there's one hole on every hard drive, and there's the label that says "Do not block this."
Yeah, it's
hole.
an air vent. It's an air pressure
Yeah.
pressure equalization valve.
Yeah.
So if you throw your hard drive in the ocean and it sinks 5,000 feet down, it will automatically
It'll-
compensate pressure.
It'll be fine. Absolutely. All right. It's this time. Anything else that you guys wanted to talk about that we didn't get to talk about?
Yeah, I'd like to. We need to start writing our own AI program.
Okay.
So that we
You
can-
have the green light. Go ahead.
through intelligence
You do it.
that'll be suddenly conscious and self-aware, and we can turn over all our decision making to that device. And it's absolute the law. You have to follow it. You have no choice. You can't dispute it.
gotta.
It's against the law.
You got to do it.
No problem. I'm on board.
Okay. Hey, Nick,
Yes, sir.
anything else you wanted to add?
Nope, not that I can think of right now.
Okay. You doing a show tonight?
I am.
Good. You got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
That is a fact.
Yep. All right, guys. It was fun. I never got around to talk about my problem, but I'll Google. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Nick, Spence, everybody in the chat. Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And while you're at it, go ahead and like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tonight at 7, Nick Craig hosts Against the Norm on Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7. And anybody anywhere in the world can listen to it on TuneIn. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.